Hi, in this video, we're going to show you a free app you could use to rip your CDs, and that way you could save them as MP3s, FLAC, or WAV files. So as you probably know, the newer Windows Media Player in Windows 11 is kind of a downgrade, I guess you could say, because it'll still rip CDs, but it won't do things like download the album art and track information any longer. You can, however, use the legacy media player in Windows 11. So we did a video on that. So I'll put a link in the description if you want to see how to do that. But we're going to show you how to use this other app that you could actually rip your CDs and get the required information. So there is a couple steps involved when setting up this app. It's not super straightforward. So we're going to start from scratch. So I had it on this computer and I removed it. So hopefully it will go through the complete process as if it was never there. All right, so it's called EAC, Extract Audio Copy. So it's free for commercial use. So if you go to their website here, you could download it. Stick on the desktop here, for example. All right, so let's double click the executable to start the installation. Agree to the terms. You could change the location if you like. And then you probably want to just leave everything checked here to make sure you have all the options. All right, so now we'll go ahead and run it. So it has to go through this initial setup here first. So this one here, this GD3, this is a metadata provider. It's a test version, so you have to have a login to use it. So it's up to you to decide if you want to install this or not, because there are some other metadata providers you can use. We're just going to say yes just to show you how it works. All right, so now we're going through the wizard here to set up our drive. So it picks your CD-ROM drive for you, assuming it finds it. So now you have the option here. Do you want accurate results or only speed is important? We're going to stick with, I prefer to have accurate results. So now it's going to do a test here. All right, so this test will take a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video and then be back when it's done. All right, so the test is complete. So we're going to click on next here. And next again. All right, so this is just going to give us some information about file types we could use. We're going to click next. All right, so now here you could pick which type of files you want to use when they are ripped. And you could do this later if you change your mind. So we're going to go with MP3 files. And click on next here. As you can see here, it needs an encoder for this. It doesn't come with an encoder, so you have to get the LAME encoder yourself. So we're going to do that next. All right, so it's going to search for it, but we don't have it, so we're going to click on cancel here. And we're going to have to browse to it, so that's the next step here. So we're going to go to this RareWares website here and get the LAME encoder here. We're going to get the 64-bit one. Let's save it to the desktop here again. Let's kind of minimize things so we can see what we're doing. All right, there it is. So we're going to extract the files here. Just right click, extract all. Let's put it on the desktop for now. Okay, so now what you need to do is put this somewhere you want to keep it. Probably not on the desktop, maybe not in your downloads. You can stick it in your documents or right on the C drive. So we're going to do that. We're going to cut it here and put it just right on our C drive here. All right, so that's the location of our LAME encoder. So now we're going to browse to it. Okay, so it already had it from before, so it's on the C drive, the LAME folder. Yours might have a different name here depending when you watch this video and depending on which version you download. And then you just want to point it to the lame.exe file. And then you probably want to check these boxes to let EAC create the ID 3 tags. Okay, now if you want to change the naming scheme from the default, and it gives you some examples here. You get a lot of choices. I'm just going to keep the default here. And now you have some options. If you're a beginner, just make it as easy as possible, or if you want to check out the more advanced options. So I'm just going to go with the beginner options here. Okay, so now it actually found the information from my CD, and you can see that Media Player does not have the information. All right, so let's say you loaded a new CD here and everything was blank. what you want to do is you have your encoder options here. So this is the one that is not free. So if we click on this, it's going to wipe out everything here. And now it wants a name and password. And then you get a free trial for 10 disks. So this one's obviously not free. So we're going to skip that one. All right, so now we're going to try this one here, the Q tools. So once you select it, then you have to click on the icon. All right, so it's finding the songs, and it actually found the album art too. So click OK. And you can see it has everything here. Let's check out the next one here, Music Brains. And it gives you the option to search for cover images. So we'll say yes. All right, we're going to click on large images, and we have some sorting options here. We could go largest picture first, maybe best ratio. Let's try that. And you can see it gives you various sizes that you could choose here. Let's click on stop. We found enough here. So let's say we want this 500 by 500. And now it's loaded into our app right here with the track number, title, and artist. So depending on the album, one of these tools might work better than the other one. All right, then we have some options for lyrics here too. If you want to add lyrics to the songs, then it shows you the length of the track, title, artist, performer. If you want to add some additional information in here, change the genre and put this type of stuff. Let's check out the options up here. Several options to go through. I'm just going to go through the tabs and you can kind of see what they are. Here's where you could change the naming scheme again, where you want to extract them to, write options, interface options, and your plugins. All right, then we have an edit menu here. Select all, invert the selection, rename your track, shuffle and sort. Copy the selected tracks, test them out. Copy the range. If you want to edit the CD information from the database, try and get some lyrics from a metadata provider. If you want to write a CD, copy CD, process WAV files, and some help options here. All right, then we have WAV here. Copy track selected, copy the images, open write CD dialog. Okay, so now we're ready to rip our CD, but there are a couple of things we need to do. First, we need to make sure everything's selected here. Go to the EAC options here under compression options. Make sure this is checked. Make sure this is set to LAME MP3 encoder because sometimes it'll be set to user defined and you don't want that. And the extension should be MP3. And then you can see here it's pointing to our lame.exe file that we placed on the C drive here. So make sure that's correct as well. Then you could change your bit rate here if you want to bump it up. I'm going to stick with the default for the sake of time. And then this box here, you're going to see it makes WAV files first, and then it's going to convert it to an MP3. So that's normal. Okay, so now that it's ready to go here, we could either click on Copy Selected Tracks Compressed, or go to Action, Copy Selected Tracks Compressed. Either one will work. So we're going to just go ahead and do this. All right, so now you need to pick a location for your ripped files. So if you don't have a folder, you can just browse to your drive and create a new one on the spot here. So I have this one from last time, so I'm going to click OK to this. All right, so as you can see, it's making a WAV file, so don't go thinking it's going to be WAV files instead of MP3s. Then if we go to that folder, you can see the process there. All right, so I'm going to pause the video again, and then when this is done, we'll check out the results. All right, so now it's contacting the Q Tools database. So this kind of goes out and makes sure everything's okay information-wise about your RIP job here. But this should be pretty quick, but sometimes you'll see it hang like this. So this has been going for a few minutes, so it's not critical, and you can actually turn this off in the settings if you don't want to use this step. All right, but one problem you might run into is that it never finishes because it should only take a couple minutes. And you can actually disable this if it's a constant problem for you, because closing this does nothing, canceling this does nothing, coming here does nothing, coming up here does nothing. So if this is a problem for you, I would recommend maybe disabling this feature. But for now, we're going to see if we could kill the program here. Task Manager in the task. All right, so let's make sure everything worked here, besides the fact. All right, so we still have our songs here that were ripped as MP3s. We have our album art. And let's make sure one plays here. I'm going to turn the volume down for copyright reasons here. Okay, that's good. All right, so you can see that worked there. So let's go back into the program here. All right, so we're going to go to EAC and then EAC options. And then under audio plugins, we're going to uncheck this QTools DB plugin. Click OK. And then that should disable that so it doesn't pop up next time. So if you run across that problem, give that a shot. All right, so that is the gist of how exact audio copy works. So I will put this information in the description here where you could download it and then where you could get the LAME encoder option as well. And then you can see how it works for you. All right, thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe.